Milan to Diani, who slams it home.
Monica right from the left block, layup good.
Parker drives it through the hole to right. Hunt comes around to score. The Cavs win. Pierman dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Cavaliers. Cavalier Sports Weekly is presented by the Virginia Lottery. The Virginia Lottery, helping Virginia's public schools. And brought to you in part by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
On this edition of Cavalier Sports Weekly, presented by the Virginia Lottery.
My sister used to have this sign in her room that says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Welcome to Cavalier Sports Weekly. I'm Dan Grovatt, number 21 on the baseball team. We have a show full of highlights for you today, and we'll start with our Play of the Week.
The Play of the Week is brought to you by SunTrust Mortgage. We make the American dream come true every day.
At this time, I'd like to introduce my pick, the number 1 pick, and the future of Virginia basketball, the 2007 National AP Coach of the Year, Mr. Tony Bennett. Let's have a round of applause for the Bennett family, please.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Stay tuned. Virginia game highlights are coming up next.
Glady bounces it underneath. Petracca.
Welcome back to the show. Our number 1 ranked men's lacrosse team took on ACC rival UNC in Giant Stadium on Saturday. Let's take a look at the game story.
The Cavalier game highlights are presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Everybody talking on defense. Let's go, helping each other out. Let's get into it, let's go. Yeah!
Bratton got the screen going to the left wing. Bratton cranks, fires, deflected on the way. Loose on top of the crease, picked up by Billings, and then Billings got it in. It's a goal. Glading at X, dodging up the right pipe. Glading gets free, bounces a shot past Zimmerman, and Virginia leads 2-0.
We've had a lot of tough games. It's really hard to win. I mean, I thought Carolina carried the play to us early. I mean, the first couple of minutes, I thought we came out and looked okay, and then I thought Carolina turned the game around and kind of carried the play to us for about 15 or 20 minutes, and I thought about midway through the second quarter, we sort of got back to it again. And then when we were down 7-3, I never thought we lost our poise, and I would say that that's probably as defining a characteristic of this team as anything else. You know, we're going to need to play better as we move forward. But we're not afraid to compete. We're not afraid to win, and I felt like throughout the game that we were in the fight. You know, I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but I always felt like we had a shot at this thing, and it clearly was never going to be easy. And Carolina had a lot to do with that. And I'm just really proud of my group for the effort that we continue to give out, and I think we all understand we just need to play a little bit better. I think we had left some opportunities out there and gave some away early in the game, but at the critical moments, we also stepped up and made some plays.
Shoot, saved by Gittleman, who hugged the pipe. Chamel straight in front of the goal, 20 yards away, drifting to the right side, turns, finds Giannone to the left wing. They feed a man, shot in a goal by Brian Carroll, who lasered a shot past Petracca. Now Bitter feeds to the right goal line extended, and they lob it out top, feed left pipe.
We just needed to play better defense, period, and I think everybody understood that, and I got a veteran group back there, and we were able to make some adjustments to get that done.
Billings fires, saved by Petracca, kicked in front of the goal, picked up by Haldy. He returns it right into the goal. John Haldy picks up the loose change and puts it into the bank. Cavaliers lead 8-7. Glading will take him behind the nylon. Glading up the right pipe. Glading, surveying, throws across the field, finds Giannone. Giannone fires off the ground, save made, but a rebound and put back by Brian Carroll gives Virginia the lead. Big face-off win there for Virginia. Glading at X. Glading spinning up the right back. Glading bounces it underneath Petracca!
I was very happy it went in. It probably wasn't the best shot I could have taken at that moment in time, but the field was pretty spread out, and that's kind of when it's an opportune time to dodge. So there weren't really slides ready to come to me, and I was able to get my hands free for a second, and I think it went 5-hole, which isn't the prettiest kind of goal, but you take anything at that point in the game.
The benefit that I have is that I've got an experienced team, and I've got older guys that understand, and I don't think are overwhelmed by any of this. I think we fully understand that what people are going to remember about the 2009 season is still out there.
Every athlete that strives to improve their game looks for a major breakthrough in their performance. In less than a year, golfer Whitney Newhouser has shaved an incredible 6 shots off her scoring average, and she is your Student Athlete of the Week.
The Student Athlete of the Week is brought to you by the Cavalier Team Shop online, where every purchase benefits academic support for UVA student athletes.
She's a strong person. I've seen other players that haven't come back from a bad hole or a bad round and maybe have their head down. You never see her head down. You always see her back strong, her walking strong. She's got a little ponytail and it's always bouncing.
I was born and raised in Charlottesville and lived here my whole life, and I mean, I've bled orange and blue since a very early age. I remember my first football game, I think I was 3 years old. Seeing all the fans got my heart racing, and I knew from then I'd be a UVA fan for life. I got started playing golf when I was 12 years old. I was at my grandmother's house with my younger cousin, and we were just kind of like going through her attic. We found this old set of golf clubs, and we were like, oh, this could be fun, like, let's just go try it out. So we went to McIntyre Golf Course, and you can pay $2, you can play all day, and the greens are made out of sand, and there's no fairways, and it's all rough, and we had a blast. My mom and dad were huge support. They got me, like, my own set of clubs. I think I was 13 when they got my first set of clubs, and just kind of took off from there.
I had seen Whitney Newhouser play at regionals while I was the coach at East Carolina, and knowing that I was going to Virginia at the time. So that was my first experience with Whitney Newhouser. I actually watched her on the range, watched the players that I was going to be coaching just to get a feel for who they were and what type of swings they had, what type of player, what type of attitude. And I knew right off the bat that Whitney Newhouser was a fighter, a hard worker. You could tell it in her face.
A big part of it comes from my parents. Everyone in my family grew up playing sports, and I just remember, you know, playing with my sister in the backyard and be like, oh, next score wins, and I always wanted to be the one with the ball at the end.
Every person on the team has an individual personality, individual place on that team. Whitney's is the motivator, the go-getter. The team expects that from her. So if I need some motivation, I pull her aside and I say, listen, we need some motivation. This person's not confident. This person's, you know, got their head down. I need you to use what you have and go get them pumped up.
I feel like, especially when I'm playing out there with the team, there's a certain energy that you need in order for the team to play well. And I don't mind being, you know, sparked to get the team going. And you know, I don't know if Coach told you, but we have this thing that we do on the golf course where we like throw a V like this. And you know, when you see that down the course, yeah, I mean, it may have just made like a bogey on the last hole or something, or maybe I'm not playing very well. But when somebody sees that, you know, I know it reminds me that, you know, there's still something to play for. Even if I'm not playing well, you never know. Every stroke matters. I finally qualified for the USAM after missing it by a stroke for 3 years in a row. And, you know, I went out there with no expectations and just hoped, you know, I wanted to take it as far as I could. And I finally felt like that was the breakthrough that I needed.
Her strength is that she has no weaknesses. Is she the best ball striker I've ever seen? Probably not. Is she the best putter I've ever seen? Probably not. Best chipper? Probably not. But she is strong at everything that she does. She doesn't have a weakness. If you look at her stats at the end of all of her rounds, she gets better and she gets better. She builds confidence from the moment she starts to the moment she's done. She's built confidence. So the last few holes, she finishes with birdies. She finishes strong.
5 years from now, I definitely want to be playing on the LPGA Tour. That's been my goal all along since I started playing. I told Candy from day one I wanted to be the best player in the world, and there's no reason I can't do that. I remember my sister used to have this sign in her room that says hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So I may not have as much talent as Annika or Lorena, but I can work twice as hard as them and get to where they are.
Visit the Cavalier Team Shop online at virginiasports.com and take advantage of this week's special offer.
Mike Ballard was a tough left-hander who had a great career for our baseball team. In this week's Cavalier Flashback, we take a look at Mike's best performance.
Cavalier Flashback is brought to you by the Virginia Lottery. More than $3 billion to K-12 public education since 1999. The Virginia Lottery, helping Virginia's public schools.
Swing and a miss. Takes a high fastball for strikeout for Mike Ballard, and he battles back from 2-0.
I'm just so happy for Mike Ballard. Here's a kid that has endured a lot in his career. He went through Tommy John surgery. He worked so hard to come back for that, and for him to go out there and accomplish what he did today is really amazing, and it's a testament to him.
There's a ground ball sharply hit to second, backhanded by David Adams. Throws to first, got the out. And the Eagles have the fifth, 2-2. Swing and a miss. He foul tipped it into the glove of Bo Seabury. Swinging a line shot. Doolittle lays out and makes the stab. He'll flip to Ballard, got the out. Ground ball to third. Wingfield's going to have to play an in-between hop. He'll fire a throw to first. Got him. And we head to the bottom of the seventh. It is Virginia 4 and Boston College nothing.
To tell you the truth, I wasn't really paying too much attention to maybe about like the seventh. I looked up at the scoreboard. I was just, when I was in the dugout, I was just basically, just kept paying attention to the offense and watching them get going.
Swinging a pop-up, right field and shallow. In comes Brandon Marsh. He will dive and make the catch!
Wow.
I knew I was going to have to dive for it, but when Valley's putting it all out there, the whole defense has to put it out there too. So it's such a great thing to be a part of that I wasn't going to let that ball drop. You got to go 110% for it, and I did.
Adam Gottschalk with Jay Jenkins. 1-1 pitch. Swinging a line shot, right center field. Henry ranges back and makes the catch. That's number 1. Swinging a ground ball to short. Tough play for McGlath. He'll field behind second base. Throw to first. Got the out. First pitch. Curveball popped up right center field. It's a tough play. Marsh coming in. Marsh makes the catch. Mike Ballard has done it. A no-hitter from Mike Ballard, and the team piles out of the dugout. Do you believe it?
Coming up after the break.
And Holton rips one into center field. That will find a home for a single. Holton now thinks.
Our baseball team is hosting Maryland this weekend. We have those highlights, our #1 ranked men's tennis team, and more in our Olympic Sports Spotlight.
The Olympic Sports Spotlight is presented by the Virginia Athletics Foundation.
Maryland, his second pitch comes in and Parker flies one deep into center field. Coming up, it will find its way off the big wall, and Parker will be in there with a stand-up double. And a chance for the RBI. The payoff pitch is on the way, and Holton rips one into center field. That will find a home for a single.
He's in the DH spot tonight, lefty on lefty. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3, changeup.
There were so many things that did not go our way during the game. In the 5th inning, I felt like we hit some balls right on the screws really hard and didn't have anything to show for it. But fortunately, in the back half of the game, we were able to get some big clutch key hits to take the lead. We got a couple of key bunts down in key situations, and hitters stepped up and got the big hits when we needed them.
2-1 pitch comes in, and Grovatt skies one into center field, lifted high. Bieniek having trouble, now finds the ball, makes the catch, but this will allow Gosselin to come and tag easily, tying the score at 4 runs apiece.
No ball, 2 strikes. Pitch coming in way outside. Holton will charge home, and he will be safe easily. Virginia has the lead, 5-4. The wild pitch. Brett Jones, his pitch, and Gosselin slaps one to right field. Casario at the warning track, jumps in, makes the catch. But nicely done, as this will score Franco Valdez.
We've always played really great games with Maryland. They're all usually come down to the wire. They're close ball games. You know, we've won our fair share of games against them, but they're always tight games. And, you know, they've got one of their best pitchers going tomorrow who pitched very well against us last year. So, you know, Caraway's going to have to get us off to a good start, and we're going to have to, you know, be opportunistic with our offense. Andrew Caraway didn't have his best stuff at the start of the game, and they hit a big 2-run home run to lead the game off, and Parker came back and hit a solo home run in the bottom of the first to keep us right there. And, you know, we battled and missed out on some opportunities, but I thought our hitters hit some balls really hard and through the first part of the game and didn't have a whole lot to show for it. But Caraway hung in there, and I thought the back half of his outing, I thought he pitched really well. And you know, really it was lined up perfectly. We had the lead going into the 8th inning. We had a 2-run lead with the 2 guys that we want on the mound. And they just couldn't get it done. You know, I don't know when it was the last time that we gave up, you know, 5 runs in an inning. But, you know, Rico and Packer have done the job for us all year. I think this team has a lot of heart. I think they've got a lot of character, you know, a lot of will to win. I think this team possesses all the qualities to be a great team and a championship team.
Wednesday was a big day for our men's basketball team as Tony Bennett was officially named our head coach. Let's check in with Coach Bennett and watch some of the press conference in the John Paul Jones Arena.
When my wife and I were flying over here, we started talking about how the press conference is kind of like your wedding day. It's a celebration, there's a lot of promise, a lot of excitement. But what really matters, quite honestly, is the marriage. And that's the daily investment. It's the promise over time and that commitment. A couple things I need to accomplish right away. And the first one is this: I need to fill my staff. I need to get a qualified, excellent staff. They got to be able to recruit. Have to have ties in this area, in this talent-rich state. Have to be able to coach. And they have to be able to really develop and make sure that it's a student-athlete experience. That one is that they'll never forget. X's and O's aside, toughness, and soundness need to be present. And you have to be able to play in the half court offensively, and you have to be able to run opportunistically and get out and go, and you better be able to defend, and you better be able to execute. But I think you have to adjust and look, and I'm looking forward to working with some of the guys we're going to be able to recruit now, and hopefully some of the players in this program. I think it'll be exciting. John Grovatt, I played against him. We battle like crazy. First time I ever flew in an airplane, it was after my senior year in high school. My Wisconsin high school team, AAU team, flew out to Norfolk, Virginia, and played in the national AAU tournament, played against Boo Williams' team. And on that team was Bryant Stith. And so, you know, players like him, certainly Ralph Sampson, Wally Walker was, you know, out in Seattle, and being there, there's so many, Corey Alexander, there's so many players, and there is a rich tradition. And Coach Holland, my father knew him and has talked to him, and I just respect what's been done, and hopefully can get back to that.
Thanks for watching Cavalier Sports Weekly. We'll be back next week with more great stories and highlights from Virginia athletics. Until then, go Hoos.
Cavalier Sports Weekly is presented by the Virginia Lottery. The Virginia Lottery, helping Virginia's public schools. And brought to you in part by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.